We now have a problem in the United States. Experts believe that anybody that lives in Washington State, Oregon, California, Illinois, New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, all these people are going to have major issues moving forward. And I say this because there's a massive movement happening right now that some are saying is expected to explode. I'm going to address what's going on in just a moment, but just understand, if you live in any of these states or nearby surrounding cities, you will be impacted. So, I'll break down what is going on in just a moment. All I ask is one thing, takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So why are experts telling us that if you live in any of those states or nearby surrounding cities, that you will be impacted? Well, it's because of the movement that's happening down at the U.S. southern border, specifically with Texas. One thing that we know is that the United States has said our borders are not open. However, if you go to the United States, the U.S. border, the southern border, and you try to just walk through, you can get through. That's all it takes. You just walk through and nobody will stop you. That is the movement that we have now seen. Well, this is turning into a crisis, and the crisis has to do with these specific states. Again, it's Washington State, Oregon, California, Illinois, Colorado, Vermont, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey. Okay, all these states are creating an issue. And I will address that in just a moment, but have something that's coming forward this week. According to key border deal negotiators, they say a bipartisan agreement has been reached, and this bill could be ready by next week. That's what they're telling us. This bill is going to be ready to go by next week. This is from Senator Chris Murphy. He says, "We do have a bipartisan deal. We're finishing the text right now." Goes on to say, "We are sort of finalizing the last pieces of the text right now. This bill could be ready to be on the floor of the United States Senate next week, but it won't be if Republicans decide that they want to keep this issue unsettled for political purposes." Here's the thing. Both parties, and rightfully so, are going to use this issue for political gain. Both parties will. Democrats obviously are going to use this because they know President Biden, he messed up. He screwed over the country by ending the remain in Mexico or stay in Mexico. He changed so many different immigration laws that it is hurting the United States today. Republicans are obviously going to use this for political gain because they're going to show the American people that look what your president did. Look what he did in his first day in office. He screwed over the entire nation. And now we're paying for it. People are paying for it now. Are seriously paying for it. There are stores closing down because they are seeing too much crime. It's not all illegal immigrants, but there is one store, and I'm not going to name it, it's a major store in a big city, is saying that they're closing down because there's illegal immigrants just all over the parking lot trying to wash windows and do these other tasks, and now their customers do not want to come to their store. This has been going on for months, and now they're going to shut it down. Yeah, it's crazy. Now, I want to read you one last thing. This is also from Senator Chris Murphy. He says, "I was glad to hear the president come out and speak forcefully in favor of this bill. I'm hopeful that we will still have enough Republicans in the Senate who want to fix the problem at the border rather than just to do Donald Trump's bidding. But we will see over the next 24 to 48 hours whether that's true." Okay. Here's the thing. What is in this bill? Well, this bill, this allows President Biden to shut down the border. Now, you're probably wondering, well, doesn't the president have the ability to do this anyway? Didn't former President Donald Trump have the ability to just pretty much do an executive order right? A national emergency, and he could shut down the border? The answer is yes. So the issue is President Biden has the authority to call for a national emergency, shut the border down. But Congress says we need a bill. So the bill that they're discussing, again, I talked about this the other day, gives President Biden to shut down the border. So if we see more than 4,000 people per day over the course of 1 week, the Department of Homeland Security could shut down the border. If we see over 5,000 people per day over the course of 1 week, then the Department of Homeland Security would be required to shut down the border. If we see over 8,500 people in a single day, okay, then they would be required to shut down the border, and anybody that enters into the United States for asylum or anything else, they enter illegally because now the border is closed. You cannot enter the United States. If you do, you will be banned from the United States for 1 year if you've done this twice. Okay? So not once, twice. But they also say that there are certain, you will go through a screening. And if you meet any of the requirements, any of the exceptions, then you would not be banned. There's a lot of leeway here. Well, I want to play you this clip from Governor Ron DeSantis. Okay? Listen to this right here. Okay, listen.
This border deal is a farce. Joe Biden already has the authority to shut the border down. He could declare it a national emergency. He could stop the invasion cold if he wanted to. He does not want to. He wants to let people in, and we know that there are people from all over the world that have come in illegally. We know from hostile countries. We know it's weakened the United States. It's also destroying this nation's sovereignty. Now, this so-called deal purports to give him tools so that he could actually close the border. The reality is it's green lighting up to 5,000 illegals every single day. That's 1.8 million plus over the course of a year, which...
That is one of the big issues that Republicans have, is that if we say that, okay, let's go with this deal, and that if there's 5,000 illegal immigrants that enter the United States in a single day, the Biden administration can shut down the border. Well, it would be required to shut down the border. But again, like Governor Ron DeSantis is saying, all it does is now it says, okay, we get 5,000 people that can come into the United States in a single day. That's it. 5,000 people. We need 4,999 people, so we do not hit that 5,000 mark. But if we do 4,999 per day over the course of a week, perfectly fine. We would never hit that barrier that now the Biden administration has to shut down the border. And that's kind of the issue that Republicans have.
They're codifying into law as saying that's an appropriate number of illegal entries. I think the appropriate number of illegal entries is 0. And our policy should reflect that we do not want people coming to this country illegally. We should not be giving benefits and work permits to people that have come to this country illegally. So Biden has the authority. He doesn't have the will. He doesn't have the political philosophy to want to actually solve the problem. Meanwhile, the country continues to get weaker, and the problem is going to continue to persist.
So right there, the problem is going to persist. That is the issue. Now, it's such a big issue right now that we are now starting to see convoys being formed. That's what's happening. So here on Fox News, just from yesterday, it says, Texas-bound Take Our Border Back convoy to shed light on migrant crisis. Send a message to leaders. Here's the issue. If we see a convoy head to Texas, the problem is some of these people, and not all, are going to be more forceful than others to send people back, push them back across the border. The problem is if we see 7,000 trucks, we see tens or hundreds of thousands of people head to the U.S. southern border. I've already seen video of farmers lining their fields, okay, with tractors and just trying to show their support for Texas, just to protect our borders. Now, you're probably thinking this, though, that, well, I don't care what's happening with Texas. Okay? I don't live in Texas. It's not going to bother me. right? I'm not for immigration. I'm not against it, but it's not going to bother me. But here's the thing. According to experts, they say it will. It will bother you. Because just this opinion piece says, you think asylum seekers cause problems in Texas? No. They can't afford to stay here. I was listening to an interview it was kind of an interview. Somebody was talking to a person that was crossing into the United States. I don't know if they were trying to claim asylum or what they were doing, but they asked them, where are you going? Person said, Illinois. They're going to Illinois because they need work. A few others said they're going to California. California has a lot of work. They're going to California. It's warm and there's a lot of work. Well, I want to show you something because here's what it comes down to. This map right here. Look at the states on the left, okay? The ones in orange or somewhat orange. We got Washington State. Their current minimum wage as of January 1st, 2024 is $16.28 per hour. Oregon's $14.20. California is $16. Arizona $14.35. And Colorado $14.42. Also in Illinois, over here, it is $14. In New York, it's $15. In New Jersey, it is $15.13. Connecticut, $15.69. Vermont up here, $13.67. So down here in Texas, it's $7.25 per hour. Nobody wants to go move somewhere and get paid $7.25 per hour because they also want to send money back to their family. But if we take that map and then we also look at this map right here, this is the state laws on immigration enforcement for 2023. Okay? The ones in green over here, these are more pro-immigration. Okay? So it's on a scale of 1 to 5. Washington State is a 4.4. Oregon is 4.73. California is a 4.27. So if we look at this right here, look at Colorado, it's a 3.47. Right? It's in green. Illinois over here, it's a 4.73 compared to Texas, which is a 1.93, which means they are anti-immigrant laws. Okay? So if we look at this, these three states, Colorado and Illinois, got over here, we got New Jersey, okay, New York is up here, we got Vermont over here. Anyway, the point of this is you look at this map of this is their minimum wage. Look at Washington State, Oregon, California. Higher minimum wages. Look at Colorado, a higher minimum wage. Illinois, higher minimum wage, right? New York, $15 an hour. New Jersey, $15.13. You look at this map, again, these are pro-immigrant laws. Okay? These are also Democratic states. So not only are illegal immigrants entering the United States, but here's the problem, they are all leaving Texas. This is not a Texas issue. The issue that Texas has is just secure our border. The issue that Governor Greg Abbott has is we are not going to change this park in Texas to an immigrant processing center. We're not going to use it to process immigrants. No, it's going to be a park. We're going to preserve it. We're going to save it. That is what he's fighting for. And yet the federal government wants to take that park and use it to process more immigrants. The issue that we're facing right now is this is not a problem just for Texas. This is why there's over 7,000 trucks heading to Texas this week. Is because they are standing up for the United States. They're standing up for the states that are not right there along the border, because those states are going to be hit. I have seen just here in Washington State, I've seen a number of families from Venezuela, from Guatemala, okay, from Colombia. I've seen so many that have moved here to Washington State that are living in hotels just because of our minimum wage, the work that we have here, and we are pro-immigrant laws. So it's an interesting dynamic that we are currently facing, but the one thing I can tell you is that this is putting many people at risk. Not because these people could potentially come and hurt them. The likelihood of that happening is very small, but they will take over certain jobs. They will bring the amount of money that we make down. They're also bringing the cost of living up because rents are going to get more expensive, that's where people say that the United States people are going to pay. We will feel the pain, and mostly it's going to come to our wallets. So that's where we're at this time. As soon as I get any more information, I promise I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. But that is what we know as of today. So again, the fight continues, and we'll see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you is I will be here every step of the way. Again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.